Hey everybody, what's up? It's your friend James Shaw. Thanks so much for being with us. We are going to do what we always do, which is talk to elite people doing elite things, and we have elite today. I'm excited about it. April, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm awesome. Would you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, my name's April Florczyk. I have been in the real estate business for, over 20 years here locally in Boise, Idaho. I run a small boutique luxury team called 208 Market. We specialize in luxury custom homes, and about, I would say 50% is residential resale and 50% of our business is new construction. So a little bit of everything.
You're knocking it out of the park. And Boise, by the way, is a sneaky cool town. So if people have never been there, they should come visit Boise, right?
Yes. Yeah. I love it here. We've kind of been a hidden little gem and treasure, and the secret is kind of out now, though. So we've had a ton of growth.
Pandemic woke people up to Boise, but what a great town. So I'm glad you're here. You guys are doing amazing stuff. You're almost $1 million in GCI last year, if I recall. And
Yes.
a lot of that, part of that's your price point's high, which helps because you're doing luxury new construction. And yet this is an untapped opportunity. When we looked at the number of home sales in the US last year, it went down, except in the new construction segment. Those sales are up. So there's massive amount of opportunity. How did you even choose that was a direction you wanted to go?
Well, I think it always just kind of made sense to me when I got in the business. I kind of looked around in our local market and I thought, why would I not want to work with builders who they make a living exactly how we make a living? Don't get me wrong. I love our residential resale clientele. They typically move every 5 to 7 years, but a builder, right? He's in the same business I am. And the more homes he builds, the more homes the more homes I can sell. So it kind of was just common sense to me that I'd want to align with new construction.
All right. So you decide to dive in, and it seems like this would be a good space to go, and they need your help, right? A lot of these builders these are small businesses just like you are.
Absolutely. And a lot of builders here in our local market are very small. It's, sometimes just a one-man show. And kind of as we've learned as agents, it's really hard to do everything at a very high level if you're trying to wear every hat. So as I've kind of slowly grown my team over the years, I've tried to kind of paint the same picture for builders that we work with that are just trying to juggle all aspects of it. And truly they can't handle the marketing aspect because it takes an entire team for me to be able to handle that aspect behind the scenes.
All right. So it's something you have to be prepared to help them. And you've got to be systems heavy and just have a lot of good stuff together to be able to help them out. So let's walk through the progression of how do we even earn the opportunity in the first place, and then how do we service them. So let's do it kind of in that order. So talk about, if we've got somebody watching and they're like, all right, there's a ton of new construction in my town, I want to help these people. What is the way in? How do you get to build relationship and start to add value?
Well, I think the best suggestion I would make for any agent who's never done new construction is you have to know your market and you have to know your data and be able to speak to that and kind of dumb it down and keep it simple for builders. Most builders don't like to be kind of behind the computer and in an office. So they're on site and they're working with subcontractors. So in the beginning, I literally just drove around in my car and I had already done all the research behind the scenes and understood, inventory levels, what the need was in the market. I learned what the need was in the market by sitting a ton of open houses and having a ton of conversations with buyers. So I think that's really valuable. Buyers are much more open in what they will disclose to you as an agent versus if they're talking with the builder directly. So I kind of took all of that information and really just studied the market and then relayed what I was seeing in our marketplace and talking to the builders about that. We have a town called Meridian, and it was every builder in our valley was really heavily focused on that area of town. And what that created was just a ton of competition for builders. And there were other areas in our market that had higher demand, but no one was really building at that time. And so I was trying to paint that picture and explain to these builders I was chatting with, saying, there's a ton of opportunity in this location. No one's building over there. You have zero competition, and there are buildable lots in this area. So that was really what kind of, I would say, started my career in new construction was just having those conversations with builders and them looking at it and going, oh, okay, these lot prices are very similar to the lot prices where everybody else is building. And I would say that's kind of how the doors open for me. But so first off would be understand your market, be able to talk to builders and relay what the buyer needs are in that area, and then show them opportunities. Every builder in this, whatever town you live in across the US, will give you their time if you bring them an opportunity. So I really spent time focusing on finding opportunities.
Gary teaches us to be the local economist of choice. And that's what you're effectively doing. You're the local economist of choice. It seems like the way you're describing a lot of these builders is they have a very narrow focus. They kind of see something, they want to pursue it, get the project done, move on, but they don't always know where the next opportunity might be. So if you can bring that to them, that's of immense value. If they can be on the front end of a new opportunity instead of the back end, boy, they probably come out way ahead, don't they?
100%. And the other thing I learned is a lot of builders, they'll tie up different properties or projects, but they're too busy focused on this one other job that they're not even doing any marketing on it. So they might have their little rinky-dink sign in the, on the lot, and it's fallen over, and I guess I've always just found a lot of success in pre-selling, painting the picture to the end buyer on what they could have in that part of town and on that lot and what it would look like. And so when I kind of realized like all these builders had all of these lots that they weren't marketing on, I was like, there's my value add. Like I can take that off their plate and just drive traffic to them.
Instant inventory for you.
Yes.
You can pre-sale for them, and they want that, right? They would much rather go in and, all right, we're starting on that one on this date and have that process done. And it seems like that, quite frankly, I don't know, you may know the stats. I imagine that the percentage of the market that's run by small builders is much bigger than the share of the market that the big builders have. Like there's got to be a huge opportunity to work with these people that build a handful of homes a year, right?
Oh, 100%. I haven't come across a town or an area where I've not found this in just driving around in the new construction. I mean, our market has changed for sure. We've had a lot of national builders come into our marketplace and tie up a lot of the property. But in any town, there have been builders that have been building there for 20 plus years that have tied up dirt or have better local connections. And I think if any agent just takes a day and just drives around, you will find opportunity waiting for you with nothing happening.
So what'd you do? Did you just call? Did you drive around, see the signs and call and say, hey, I'm April, I'm a real estate agent, and who's helping you move this property, get home sold? Is that what you did?
Pretty much. And I mean, if I think about it, I can recall multiple opportunities I have currently where I picked up the phone and just said, hey, my name is April. I've specialized in this, or I've been in real estate this long. Can I take 20 minutes of your day? I would love to meet with you and share with you some opportunities that I see.
And then in that meeting, what would you walk through with them? So if they say yes to that, and the smart ones do, if they say yes to that, what are you walking through in that time?
I'm bringing them an opportunity, and then I am showing them the data in the market, and I'm keeping it very simple. So when I first started this, I literally created something, and I don't know, I think it was Publisher or PowerPoint, and it wasn't very fancy or pretty, but it basically just talked about inventory levels, price per square foot, average, pendings, average price, average days on market, and just kind of gave them just the highlights of all of that and just said, hey, you can be building over here, or you can look at this opportunity and be building over here. And we've been in a market where our inventory has been extremely low for the last, I would say, 10 years. And so new construction has been the bulk of our sales because I think it's going to get worse over the next couple of years because we're just not getting, probably like everybody else, sellers who want to list their homes when they've got a great 2.5% or 3% interest rate. So I have a feeling that over the next several years, new construction is going to be a big bulk of our market.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're on the front end. Okay, so another strategy would be, I imagine, what you've done is met with a builder and you're either pre-selling or finding them their next opportunity. Here's lots that are available we can go build on. Do you ever run into builders that maybe they have a spec home that's sitting there and you might be able to support them with that? And what would your advice be around that?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got in the market, I did a ton of open houses, and there are always agents in areas that have new construction developments and they cannot man them all. So I reached out to agents who had listings that were new construction that weren't being held open. I sat in those open houses and I learned the smaller builders always go by and visit their houses when they're under construction. So then I was having, it was an opportunity where it wasn't my listing, but I was having conversations with the builder and learning he's just like I am. There's nothing to be afraid of. They want to have a conversation. They would tell me about what they were doing or what they did differently than other builders. And it just, gave me some insight on how the builders think and what their niche market was. So then I would kind of study and watch the market and try and find opportunities that I thought would be a good fit for that particular builder.
That's great. And in a market like yours, I imagine that we don't need to always pre-sale new construction, because you could, I'm sure you've done this, but you tell me, you find a lot that's available. You go, all right, I need to call this builder, tell them to buy this lot, put a house on it, and then we can sell it. Does that happen?
That's how I've built my entire career.
Okay. So, because what's great about that is you're getting paid multiple times on the same piece of land over a short period of time, because you've sold it to the builders. You're going to get a commission on that. The builder puts a spec house on it. You're going to list it and sell it for them. You're getting paid on that. Like, this is a really smart way to run the business, right?
Yeah. It's funny, to me, it was always common sense, but it hasn't been common sense to a lot of agents. And I've had conversations with agents and they said, man, we see this opportunity as well, April. Like, why aren't, maybe I've been lucky. I don't know. When you dress for success every day, you are a professional, you carry yourself in a professional manner, you can speak knowledgeably about what's going on in our market and the sales. And then when you get an opportunity, whether it is to list a spec home or to pre-sell something, you knock it out of the park. They will work with you over and over and over again. But yes, I have run probably a more profitable business than the majority of real estate teams because of what you just touched on.
Well, you get paid twice on the same thing in the shorter period of time. That builder's committed to you. They like you because they made money and you gave them really good advice. It just is really smart. I love it so much. Now, how do you decide, though? I mean, there's got to be a gazillion mom and pop builders in Boise, Idaho. How do you decide who to target and who to work with?
Well, in the beginning, it was just anyone, right? Whoever gave me their time, right? But then after years of experience, you learn what builders I think you want to be associated with. That can be things like how organized, how well their warranty and their follow-ups are, the quality of the build, their reputation, how they interact with clients. Some builders need us as agents. They need us to be a filter for them because they don't communicate very well with potential buyers. And other builders, you can put them in front of a buyer and they're gonna close the deal for you because they're great. So it really just kind of is who you want to align yourself with and kind of maybe what your brand represents and picking out those builders that match that.
That's really good. Now, it can't all be a pink, fluffy unicorn dancing on a rainbow. I mean, there have got to have been some lessons in your time that you've done this and some mistakes that you've made. What lessons have you learned, or mistakes would you want others to avoid and learn from you instead?
Oh, goodness. Probably the biggest lesson I've learned, or the biggest hurt or like, gut wrenching, is finding an opportunity for a builder, painting the vision for the builder, bringing it to the builder, and then the builder not working with you, and choosing a different team or a different agent to market with. So I would say the best advice I could give someone would be, if you do bring an opportunity to a builder, make sure that you have a solid seller representation agreement in place or a solid compensation agreement in place, especially if it's an off-market opportunity. We hope in this business that we find people that we want to work with that are loyal and will stay loyal. And the majority of my relationships have been built, are extremely loyal. But occasionally you will run into someone where you'll bring them a unicorn or $1 million opportunity, and another great agent steps in and all of a sudden you don't have the listings on it. So that would be the best advice I could give.
All right, I like it. Now, the other thing you said off the top was one reason why they're hiring you is because they need help and support to do the things they're not great at. That means that we have to provide that to them. My guess would be you've got, good systems and good people. So I want to hear a little bit about the infrastructure of your organization so that others know what to expect, and talk about how you got there. And then what are some of the systems that the builders have found most valuable that your team provides?
So I've always run my team, I would say probably for the last 8 to 9 years, more admin heavy. Just because I've tried to offer a higher level of service, and there's just no way as agents we can do all of that. There has to be a lot of kind of behind the scenes help. So positions like a full-time marketing person, a full-time listing coordinator, a full-time transaction coordinator, a full-time executive assistant. These are all crucial roles. You don't have to hire them all out of the gate by any means, but that you can build up to so that you can stay in front of the clients, yet all of the I's are being dotted, all the T's are being crossed. And I would say one of the biggest ones is marketing. When I worked with builders and started kind of diving into new construction, I realized that these builders would, have a client come to them, they would build an incredible property, and then they would never hire a professional photographer to document the work that they did. So that was kind of mind blowing to me. So that was a service that I would provide, that I would send my photographer over. We would document it. Sometimes it was documenting it throughout construction, sending that information to the client. The client loves to see that kind of stuff. And then when the house is completed, we would also professionally shoot it so that the builder started to build a portfolio, right? And I mean, I started with just literally, we would build Google sites. And we would upload every home that they built and all the photos from that home. So then when we were in conversations with other real estate agents that had clients looking to build or potential buyers, we could simply send over the Google site and it showcased all the builders' work. This is for the less sophisticated builder that doesn't have, say, a social media presence or a website built yet. We've helped builders build websites. We've helped builders work with designers that were trying to pick finishes on their own and do an introduction to a designer to kind of help them and show them that you can sway a home's value when you have a professional on that aspect involved. What else have we done? I'm trying to think. We've done videography on construction sites to kind of showcase the construction of the developments as they're progressing. Just kind of all of that behind the scenes stuff that the builders aren't even thinking about marketing wise.
Well, it seems like that, especially if you found a new builder, someone who's launching their business that has none of that, and you can come in and go, let me get that off your plate. Let me do all this for you. April, you have a client for life as their business grows, business grows and it evolves. And now they might be able to bring some of that in-house, and yet you're their person. Like, they're not going anywhere else. And then my guess too is this leads to listing opportunity for you, because someone goes to the builder and says, we want to build a house. They don't even know you exist. They go to the builder, but we got to sell our house first. And builder says, well, then you need to call April. Does that ever 100%. Happen?
Yep. Lots of stories like that in my past.
Oh, no doubt. Okay. So what would be that kind of final piece of advice? Someone's like, all right, I can build the infrastructure. I've got the experience from a marketing standpoint. I'm a systems person as an agent. So I'm ready. What advice would you give?
Don't overthink it. Get out there, get on the phone and get in front of them. Just have a conversation. You're going to find out in the first 5 minutes if this is someone you want to even be aligned with or be in business with. But yeah, I would say just get out there and start talking. I mean, do your research, know what you're going to talk about, find opportunities for builders, but then get on the phone and get in front of them. That's the best thing you can do.
April, you're a genius. Your market center group is one of my favorite market center groups in the entire planet. I love Boise, Idaho. I love all the people in it, and I love everything you shared today. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for your time.